With the higher interest rates more than doubling this year has changed the real estate market here in Kitsap County and changed the game in the real estate market. And I don't mean by just a little bit either. So stay tuned, because in this video, I'm keeping it real about what's going on right now with the Kitsap County housing market and where I see us going with home prices, interest rates, and affordability in the near future. I'm gonna give you everything you need to know about how to navigate this thing, and we're getting into it right now. What's up, everybody? I'm Ladina Strand, your favorite Kitsap County Washington realtor. Now, if this is your first time to my channel and you want to know everything about Kitsap County, well, I do tons and tons of videos, everything you need to know. So you want to make sure you tap that subscribe button and you click that little bell so you're notified every time I do a new video. Now, I get lots and lots of phone calls, emails, text every single day of people looking to relocate here, and I absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about moving or relocating, make sure you reach out to me. You can give me a call, you can shoot me a text, you can send me an email, or you can even send a Seahawk. However you want to get a hold of me, I've got your back when moving or selling in Western Washington. So there's a few things I really want to talk about that's having a major impact on our real estate market right now in terms of where we are and how we got here. And then, of course, I'll give you some recommendations on what I think you should do moving forward. So first up, let's talk about affordability. Now, there's a lot to unpack with this one, but the long and the short of it is that these higher home prices, the higher property taxes, and these higher interest rates are really doing a number on affordability right now. And it's kind of a perfect storm on slowing this market down. Now, if you ask me, home prices have been really crazy over the last couple of years, with some of the most popular neighborhoods in the Kitsap County area seeing appreciation rates in the 20 to 30% range for back-to-back years in 2020, 21, and the first half of 2022. Due in part to the demand and the competition that we've been seeing from out-of-state home buyers looking at relocating to the area. But it wasn't just the relocations and the demand in the market that pushed our home values up to where we are today. Lumber prices have been all over the place in the last couple of years, and with the labor shortages and supply chain issues that we're still dealing with to this day, home builders simply haven't been able to build homes fast enough for everyone that wants to buy one, limiting the supply of inventory even further. Until lately, which I'm going to get into in a moment. Now, of course, higher property values also mean higher property taxes. So when the new county appraisals came in earlier this year, everyone that had been on the sideline chilling over the last couple of years who didn't sell their home, they were feeling pretty good about all that, their appreciation and all this newfound home equity. Until, of course, they realized they had to pay a whole lot more in property taxes, at which point most folks got a little salty. But if I'm just keeping it real with you, I don't really know what you all were expecting to happen with everybody paying tens of thousands of dollars over list price for the last couple of years. Because you all know Kitsap County are not playing when it comes to their tax money. Adding the fact that mortgage rates have basically more than doubled from 3% to over 7% over the last few months in an effort to curb inflation, and everybody out there who decided to wait, out all the craziness of 2020 and 21, well, they're kind of having sticker shock right now with the way some of these mortgage payments are set up. Now, the latest numbers for the month of October 2022 show that the median home price in Kitsap County is sitting right around $535,000. And when you compare payments on a $535,000 mortgage over 30 years at 3% versus 7%, the math, says you're paying over $1,300 a month more today for the exact same home versus what you could have been paying for it if you just bought it 9 to 10 months ago, which is kind of a big deal. So needless to say, these rate hikes are actually doing what they were designed to do, which is knock people out of the market, make them think twice again about borrowing money, and slowing things back down to sustainable levels. The craziness that we've been seeing over the last couple of years where sellers and builders could basically do whatever they wanted, and buyers just had to take it, and they had to offer up their life savings, their firstborn child, and a year of free tacos just to get their offer accepted. That whole situation is over, the shift is officially here, and for a lot of folks, there's a fair amount of uncertainty about what exactly that means. So let's have a real talk in terms about what the opportunity is right now in this market, what the opportunity might be in the future, and hopefully get some of your questions answered as to whether or not you should be trying to take advantage of what's going on right now. So there's a couple of things I want you to think about as you're making the decision of, do I move to Kitsap County, or do I put my Kitsap County house up for sale and maybe buy something else? So the good news, though, is that there's so many more options that are starting to become available to you right now. Builders and home sellers, for the longest time, they weren't doing anything. They weren't offering incentives, they weren't doing anything in the way of concessions, And in a lot of cases, we've seen a lot of home sellers actually wait several days, set on your offer so they could have more showings and more offers come in so they could actually compete against you. But if you take a look at what's going on today, we're in what I feel are like at the beginning stages of things returning back to what they were like in 2019. Back to a time when, even though it was a seller's market, there were a lot more homes for buyers to look at, and everything wasn't selling with 15 offers over asking in the first 24 hours. And even though historically the kind of market that we're moving into is what's considered to be normal, it still has a lot of sellers and listing agents freaking out a little bit because they're comparing what's going on right now to what it's been like for the last couple of years when they had their noses turned up and treating buyers like peasants. But if you're thinking about selling your home, you can still expect to do pretty well. And if you're planning to buy a home in the near future, just know that the balance of power is starting to shift back to something a little more even. And builders have also started leaning in a little bit too, because they're saying, okay, demand has slowed down a little bit. The traffic and the models, it's not quite what it used to be on the weekends anymore. And so now they're offering a lot more incentives in an effort to get people back through the door. Again, for the last couple of years, builder sales reps were limited on the number of homes that they could sell every single month. And they had these long wait lists with buyers, which of course was after their pricing increases across the entire neighborhood. But that's just not how it is anymore. Nowadays, my timeline and inbox are full of new home sales reps posting and emailing about all their inventory and all the thousands of dollars they have to throw at our clients if they decide to buy a home in their community. And so if you're thinking about building new construction, or maybe you're looking at a longer term close, one of the best things folks are doing right now is they're locking in the incentives. And they're getting a better deal. And many of these builders right now, they're also offering long-term rate locks on interest rates too. And so if you're worried about what's going on right now, with things starting to shift, will interest rates go up, that sort of thing. So many of these builders right now are actually helping folks out a lot by locking in those rates long-term so that you get a little bit of certainty down the road in the future. One of the things that I really do love about the market that we're in right now is you're not having to go, crazy over asking price anymore. You're not having to go, 25, 50,000 over asking, 100,000 over asking just to get the house. So, think about it from an affordability standpoint. You're keeping a lot more money in your pocket because you're not having to compete against nearly as many cash buyers out there. And sellers are still doing really well too, with most of the homes out there still, selling near or at list price within a few weeks. And so to me, it's really a win in today's market. The question I get all the time is, when is this real estate market finally going to crash? Well, one of the things that we know that's fundamentally different about what's going on right now compared to the housing crisis of '08 is that today, most people are actually sitting on a ton of equity when it comes to their homes. That it was actually a lot harder to get a mortgage over the last few years than it was back in 2007, 8, and 9. I can still remember people getting 110, 120% mortgages back then, which basically guaranteed that you were in a negative equity position the day you closed on your home. You also had these 1 and 2 year adjustable rate mortgages with teaser rates in the 1% to 2% range that would then balloon up to like 7, 8%, and it put a lot of people in a position of not being able to afford their mortgage payments anymore. Now, the adjustable rate mortgages we're seeing today are definitely structured a little bit differently than they were back then. Now, not to mention that most banks cared a lot less about what your credit score looked like back then, and it was almost encouraged for you to lie about your income on some of the loan products that were available. You didn't really even have to actually verify how much money you were making. But the last couple of years, it just wasn't like that at all. If you wanted to buy a home, you actually had to have good credit, you actually had to have money to put down and to be able to compete with these other buyers out there. And if you were one of those buyers out there lucky enough to get your offer accepted, chances are you're sitting on one of those 2 to 3% interest rates right now. And if you look back over history, that almost never happens. So I'm not exactly holding my breath that we're ever gonna see those again. So if you're still one of those out there holding your breath and waiting for the market to crash, then you should probably stop before you pass out. Now, one of the things to consider if you're thinking about buying or building a home right now is if you're looking at a long enough time horizon. And for most folks, we tell them that that's at least 3 to 5 years. Then it still really makes a lot of sense for you to become a homeowner. It doesn't really matter if the market goes up and down and then back up again, because you're locked into what it is today. And I've been talking to a lot of buyers that just feel really uncertain about what's going on right now with the rental rates, what's going on with home prices, which are still going up, by the way. and also what's going on with interest rates, because they're kind of just all over the place right now. So if you're thinking about buying a home and flipping in at a year, or if you move all the time and this is like your 10th or your 15th time buying a house, then maybe you should probably rent, okay? Then maybe you should take some time to wait it out and see what happens. But if you're able to lock in today and you're able to get a home that you love and your time horizon is still a little bit further out, that, you know, that 3 to 5 years or more that we talked about, then get some certainty in your life. I mean, the way I look at it, if you're not going anywhere and you want to settle down and Kitsap County is home, then settle down and make Kitsap County home. What I say is love the home, date the rate. You can always refinance later when the rates go down, and they will go down at some point. Now, worst case scenario, if your plans did end up by changing and you had to move a lot sooner than expected, you know, I'm really sure you would have no problem renting that house out and it turning into a good, sound, long-term investment for you down the road. Okay, so we're wrapping up this video. Now, if you're unsure about what to do right now in terms of moving or not moving, and you're really just looking for a good resource to lean into, well, that's what my team and I are here for. We're not here to just sell you a house. We're actually, just here to help you make a good buying decision. And we're getting calls from folks like you, every day that are researching homes and neighborhoods in the Kitsap County and surrounding area, and we love it. So if you're thinking about buying or selling a home anywhere in the Western Washington area, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, however you want to get a hold of me. I definitely have your back when moving to Western Washington.